Hey everyone, I hope you guys had a great spring break. This week, going forward, I'm going to start just working on SDI. So this one's all about multiplication and multi-digit multiplication. So I know you guys won't get your packets until Friday. So I'll start going over some of the examples in your packets next week. For this week, I just want to go over what multiplication is and give you a quick review of how to do multiplication with multi-digit numbers. So I have fancy PowerPoint for you. So multiplication is just repeated addition. So in this example right here, we have 2 times 4, which is 8. And 2 times 4 is 2 4 times being added together. So 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8. So multiples are the product of a number and any other whole number. So multiples of 2 would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Because 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 3 is 6, 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10, 2 times 6 is 12, and 2 times 7 is 14. A product is the answer to a multiplication problem. So in our example of 2 times 4, 8 would be the product. Okay, so when we're lining up multiplication problems, we want to pay attention to place value. So these blocks right here represent 342. We have 2 1 blocks to represent the ones place. We have 4 tens blocks to represent the tens place. And we have 3 100 blocks that represent the hundreds place. So 300, 40, 10, 20, 30, 40, 2. So we want to remember with place value that the whole numbers increase from right to left. So we start on the right, and as we go to the left, they get bigger. So we have the ones place, the tens place, the hundreds place. After that would be the thousands place, then the 10,000s place, then the 100,000s place. So here's an example of a number with 17. The 7 goes in the ones place. The 1 goes in the tens place. That's represented by 7 ones blocks and 1 tens blocks. For 226, we have the 6 in the ones place, the middle 2 in the tens place, and then the first 2 in the hundreds place. So we have 226. For 1,409, the 9 goes in the ones place. We have a 0, so we have no tens. We have 4 hundreds and 1 thousands. So 1,409 ones. So for this, it wants us to identify the digit in the tens place. So we know from place value it goes ones, tens, hundreds. So our tens place is the 4. which digit in the number 265 is in the ones place? The ones place is all the way on the right. So in this, it would be the 5. For the number 397, it wants us to decide which digit is in the tens place. So we go ones, tens. So our tens place would be the 9. For 627, it wants to know the digit in the tens place. So again, we're going to start at the ones place and then move over to the tens. So we have a 2 in our tens place. The next number is 901, and it wants to know the number in the hundreds place. So we start at the ones place, move to the tens place, and then the hundreds place. Our hundreds place would be 9. In the number 270, the digit in the hundreds place, we start at the ones, move to the tens, and then move to the hundreds, which would be a 2. When we multiply, we use this symbol right here, this X, most commonly will be used to symbolize multiplication. So, multiplication means to have groups of the same size. So, for our example of 3 times 4, we have 1, 2, 3 groups with 1, 2, 3, 4 in each. So it would just be 4 plus 4 plus 4, or 3 times 4. Same thing over here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups, but we only have 1, 2, 3 in each. So we would have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So 3 times 4, or 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3, equals 12. So here we have 1, 2, 3 groups of scissors and 2 scissors in each one. So 3 groups, 2 scissors in each would be 2 plus 2 plus 2, which equals 2 plus 2 is 4, plus 2 more is 6. So our multiplication problem is 3 times 2 equals 6. Okay, so when we multiply by multi-digit numbers, we have an example of 20 times 2, which is 2 groups of 20. So for repeated addition, that would just be 20 plus 20, which equals 40. When we multiply, we set it up vertically. We put the larger or longer, because a longer number would be a larger number, on top, and our smaller number on bottom. We want to make sure we line up our place values. So this is a poor example, but the 0 should be over top of the 2. So the first thing you do is you multiply by the ones place. So we have 0 times 2, which is 0. And then we use our number and we're going to move over to the tens place. So we're going to do 2 times 2, which would be 4. So our answer would be 40. So when we have 2 numbers at the bottom, the first thing we're going to do is start at the ones place at the bottom number. So we're going to do 0 times 3, which is 0. Then we're going to move over, we're going to do 0 times 4, which is also 0. And we put a placeholder 0 down here, and we move over underneath the number we're multiplying by. So we have 1 times 3, which is 3, and 1 times 4, which is 4. Then you would add them together. So we're not going to do those problems because I have other problems for you to work on together. But here it shows you we have 423 times 211. So we're first going to multiply the top number, the 423, by the ones place, which is the 1. 1 times 3 is 3. 1 times 2 is 2. 1 times 4 is 4. Then we're going to move over to the 2 and the 211. The 1, I'm sorry, there's a 1 right here. So we're going to multiply this number 423 times 1 again. But we move over. So our 1 times 3 will line up underneath the number we're multiplying it by. 1 times 2 is 2, and 1 times 4 is 4. Then we move over again to the 2 in the hundreds spot. And we're going to multiply the top number, the 423, by this number. So we have 2 times 3, which is 6, right here. 2 times 2, which is 4, and 2 times 4, which is 8. The final thing you have to do, because these are all called partial products, the numbers you got when you multiplied are partial products. To get our final product, you line them all up based on place value, and you add them together. 3 plus 0 is 3, plus 0 is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 0 is 5. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 6 is 12. So we put down the 2, we're going to carry the 1 up here. So we have 1 plus 4 is 5, plus 4 is 9. And then we have nothing else to add to our 8, so we're just going to bring that down. So our final product is 89,253. Okay. So we now can move on to some examples. So our first example we're going to do is 61 times 967. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do 7 times 1. Underline this in purple. Okay. So we have 7 times 1, which is 7. And then 7 times 6, which is 42. So we put our 2 and then our 4. Okay. We're going to move over now to our 6. So we have, we're going to put a 0 for our place value holder. And then we're going to move over. We're going to do 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. And then we're going to move over again to our 9. Okay. So we have a placeholder for the ones place now, and a placeholder for the tens place. We're going to do 9 times 1, which is 9. And 9 times 6 which is 54. Okay. So again, these are all called, I'll do black. These right here are called it's too big. Partial products. That's what these are. Okay, so now that we're done with our partial products, we have to add them all together. Okay. So we have 7 plus 0, which is 7, plus 0 is 7. 2 plus 6 is 8, plus 0 is 8. 4 plus 6 is 10, plus 9 is 19. So we're going to put down our 9. And we're going to carry the 1. 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 4 is 8. And then we have nothing else to add to our 5, so we're just going to bring it down. So the answer to 61 times 967 is 58,987. Moving to our next problem, we have 27 times 62. So the first thing we're going to do is multiply our top number of 27 times the number in the ones place, which is our 2. So we have 2 times 7 is 14. So we put down the 4 in the ones place. And we're going to carry our 1. Now we have 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. Okay, then we're going to move over to our next number in the tens place, which is our 6. So we have 6 times 7, which is 42. So we're going to put our 2 underneath the number we're multiplying it times, and then carry our 4. And put a 0 here to hold our place value. Okay, so now we have 6 times 2 is 12. We're going to add our 4, which is 16. So we put down our 6, and we put down the 1 because we don't have anything else to multiply by. These are our partial products, so now we have to add them together. So we have 4 plus 0 is 4. 5 plus 2 is 7. 6 plus nothing is 6. And our 1 plus nothing is 1. So the answer to 27 times 62 is 1,674. Our next example, we have 78 times 325. So we're going to start with our number in the ones column, which is our 5. Okay, we're going to do 5 times 8, which is 40. We're going to put down our 0 and carry the 4. We have 5 times 7, which is 35, plus 4 is 39. Okay, we're going to move over again to our next number. So we're going to multiply the 78 times our 2. So we have our 0 for our placeholder. We're going to do 2 times 8, which is 16. So we put down the 6. And we're going to carry our 1. 2 times 7 is 14, plus 1 is 15. Okay. We're going to move to our next number, which is our 3. So we're going to do 3. Oops. We're going to put a placeholder under our ones column. We're going to put another placeholder under our tens column. Now we're going to do 3 times 8, which is 24. We're going to put our 4 down. And we're going to carry the 2. Now we have 3 times 7, which is 21, plus 2 is 23. Okay, those are all of our partial products. So now we need to add them together. So we have 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 9 plus 6 is 15, plus 0 is 15. So we're going to put down the 5. We're going to carry our 1. So we have 3 plus 1 is 4, plus 5 is 9, plus 4 is 13. So we put down the 3, we carry the 1. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 is 5. And then we don't have anything to add our 2 to, so we just bring it down. So the answer to 78 times 325 is 25,350. So that is all I have time for today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. You're going to be getting your packets on Friday. So next week we'll dive more in depth to our multi-digit multiplication. If you guys need anything, you can always email me. And I hope you guys have a great week.